Senator Jessica Tisch.
To those who idolize Luigi Mangione, I say this: violence is not a cause, murder is not a message, and a killer is certainly not a hero.
A tropical storm on a collision course with the 50th state.
Tropical storm Lala in the Pacific is barreling towards Hawaii. On the forecast track, it could become a Category 1 hurricane by Saturday morning as it approaches the Big Island. A hurricane warning is in effect.
ABC meteorologist Leslie Lopez in Indonesia. At least 2 people dead and collapsed buildings and homes after a powerful magnitude 7.7 earthquake off the coast. President Trump is denying reports that families of service members aboard the USS Abraham Lincoln are concerned for their loved ones' health and safety. The record deployment at sea now for 9 months. The president asked if that's too long.
No. Not nearly long enough.
2 American Airlines planes over Arizona, both with the same call numbers. American Flight 2482. One arriving, the other departing. A very alert air traffic controller calling the respective flights 2484 departure and 2482 arrival, all caught by ATC.com.
I'm glad it all worked out there. It could have been disastrous, but I'm glad it all worked out.
Yeah, same frequency and pointing right at each other. That's pretty crazy.
Yeah.
The FAA investigating. You're listening to ABC News.
In a recent survey of 123,000 wireless customers, Pure Talk was the only wireless company to receive 5 stars in every category: coverage, support, value, and data. What else do you need to know? Switch to Pure Talk today and get any plan, including their top shelf unlimited data plan, for just $15 a month for your first 3 months. No contract, no commitment. Dial pound 250, say micro, and let Pure Talk's U.S. customer service team help you make the switch.
These days, heading back to school means more than pencils and notebooks. It means laptops, tablets, online accounts, and a lot of personal information moving across the internet. WebRoot Total Protection gives families powerful online defense tools with antivirus, VPN, cloud backup, identity protection, and more, helping keep your digital life secure throughout the school year and beyond. Go to webroot.com/radio and get 60% off today. That's webroot.com/radio for 60% off. Live a better digital life with WebRoot, because peace of mind shouldn't be optional.
President Trump is appealing his ballroom case to the U.S. Supreme Court.
The administration's filing takes head-on the idea embraced by an appeals court panel that the president is not the owner of the White House, but merely a tenant. The administration's petition says that would make a judge the president's de facto landlord. 2 lower courts have now ruled against Trump, saying Congress must authorize the ballroom before non-security-related construction can continue. The latest order is set to take effect next week, unless the justices step in.
ABC's Stephen Portnoy. Even Flow is recalling nearly 23,000 Revolve 180 Light Max NXT infant car seats manufactured before April of 2025. Federal safety regulators say the seats might not recline, increasing the risk of an injury in a crash. A grandmother and a 6-year-old in Worcester, Massachusetts, each bitten by a fox in the same neighborhood less than 24 hours apart. Janessa Pagan-Williams says a fox bit her arm, finger, and leg.
After it went on my arm, it made the tissue come out because it bit really hard and went deep, deep, deep to the tissue.
Hours later, it bit a grandmother playing with her grandkids. Police say the fox was trapped, euthanized, and will be tested for rabies. A new degree of option at Arizona State is ruffling some feathers. The school has launched a bachelor's in content creation with courses covering on-camera presence and podcasting. Critics question the legitimacy and value, even though there are similar programs at other universities. Dave Packer, ABC News.
The KDKA AccuWeather forecast is brought to you by JP Roofing and Siding, Pittsburgh's #1 Platinum Preferred roofing replacement contractor. Call 412-829-7711.
Partly cloudy through the overnight hours, a low of 64. Partly sunny, still somewhat humid on Saturday with a high of 84. And there could be a thunderstorm in spots throughout Saturday night, low around 71 degrees. For AccuWeather, I'm meteorologist Brian Thompson, 100.1 FM and AM 1020 KDKA.
Rob Fracks on the voice of Pittsburgh, 100.1 FM and AM 1020 KDKA.
When you need to talk, we're here for you. Always have been. News Radio KDKA.
As the old saying goes, size matters.
At Morgan & Morgan, we have over 1,000 lawyers and nearly 6,000 people on staff.
But at the core, this is and always has been a family business.
Our family watching out for your family.
Call us or email us 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, even on a Saturday or a Sunday.
And if you ever have a problem, call our mom.
Morgan & Morgan.
For the people and your family.
Injured? Dial Pound Law or visit forthepeople.com for an office near you.
Summer is winding down, making it the perfect time to get your home ready for the fall and holidays with beautiful custom window treatments from Lachina Drapery and Blind Factory. For over 60 years, Lachina has been manufacturing custom draperies in their own Dormont factory, giving homeowners superior quality, fast turnaround times, and factory direct value. Visit Lachina's Dormont or Wexford showrooms. Schedule free shop-at-home service by calling 412-665-4900 or go to lachinadrapery.com.
All right, here we go. It's your Pratt Pack. Welcome to a Saturday morning. We have a lot to get to, so glad you could spend a little time with us today. A Pittsburgh police officer shot and wounded a man, according to officials, who ignored orders to drop his weapon as police tried to break up a fight. It happened Thursday evening in the Lincoln-Leamington area. The incident happened on Lyric Street, according to Allegheny County Police, the agency investigating the shooting. So let me just talk about police enforcement, if I can, right now. You know, we, I believe, in Pittsburgh are probably the best we have been in a very long time when it comes to serving and protecting. Now, we have a new police chief here in the city, obviously, as well, and I think he is taking it upon himself to do just that. But one of the things that I truly believe, every time you have a story like this, you have to give everyone that is law enforcement the benefit of the doubt. The reason being is we need to start coming together as a community and united. We must stand by each other, the citizenship and law enforcement, so we can move to a better place in this country, especially in our region. You know, Pittsburgh has been very fortunate over the recent decades to not get the same numbers that people in New York, Chicago, and Los Angeles have had to deal with. Yes, we are very fortunate, but in recent years, some of those numbers have started to trend in the wrong direction. So what can we do to actually make it better? We can actually start believing in this region and our police and communicating and getting to know them on a regular basis. Now, that story, it happens all the time. And sadly, there is more gun violence now in Pittsburgh, especially involving young people, than in recent years. But I know in my heart that if we actually take a little bit of time to get to know the officers on the beat, these men and women, it can go a long way to actually start to strengthen the community, to make this community safer and a better place for all of us to live. And this just isn't for the city of Pittsburgh. It's Allegheny County, it's Beaver, it's Lawrence, it's Butler, it's Washington County. All of us need to understand people who decide to become members of law enforcement, they do it out of the goodness of their heart. They do it because they actually care. And in my opinion, now more than ever, we have to find a way to make it safer for people to live in this region. If we want people to stay and we want people to come to the most livable city, we have to make it one of the safest livable cities. And any time that you work hand in hand, the citizenship and law enforcement, it's a combination that will not fail. It's a combination that will win. And in my opinion, now more than ever, we need to come together, stand together, and find a way to meet each other halfway. Because when we do that, we make it a solid foundation for all of us to stand on. All right, the other thing that I wanted to get to begin the program today, the Pennsylvania Game Commission announced the state's deputy game warden program is coming to an end, which will cut the number of state wildlife wardens nearly in half. Now, this program began in 1903 and has had more than 100 people serving as deputy game wardens across the Commonwealth. In an email to deputies, the commission said the decision to end the program was a difficult one and expressed gratitude to the volunteers who served. It referred to as a closure of a natural evolution. You know, we were talking about law enforcement in a different way to begin the program, and I thought this would be perfect timing to bring this up. You know, as I was making my way into work today, I once again saw nature at its best, as I have been witnessing for a very long time here in Green Tree. Deer all sorts of deer everywhere you look. You know, back when I was growing up, if you saw a deer anywhere near your house, it was something that was truly an awe-inspiring moment. But I think all of us need to understand wildlife is overtaking our communities, our region. You've got everything from coyotes to turkey to deer and bear and more. And the bear sightings have never been, well, more frequent. But what the men and women of the Game Commission do every single day is as important as anything else along the way. So we need to stop subtracting and we need to start adding. How do you do it? The more people that get involved by getting a license and going out and participating in the great outdoors, it makes perfect sense. Why? Because more people that are out and about and understand the significance of what nature is all about, these Game Commission jobs will become plentiful. They'll become more important. More young people will want to grow up and become a game commissioner. Look, whether it's the Fish and Boat Commission or the Game Life Commission, whether they're worrying about the streams and lakes and rivers, or they're worrying about the woods, that back 40 or a forest somewhere up in Ligonier, these jobs are essential. And one thing we have to understand, in 2026 and moving forward, we're going to be living with nature of all kinds. And now more than ever, we have to learn to how to adapt to that. Look, maybe it's just me, but when you see coyote on the side of the street, something we never saw growing up, and there seems like there's a bear sighting more times than not, never did we even ever come close to seeing a bear in our neighborhoods. One thing is for sure, the ecosystem is shifting, and more of those wonderful animals are calling this place their home. So let's learn to live together, but more importantly, to keep us safe and to keep us on the right track and to be able to enjoy nature. It's the Pennsylvania Game Commission, a big commodity in the Keystone State. All right, we got Kay Davis and Alonzo here today. Going to have two people producing this show because that's how big it is. We're here till 1 o'clock. We have a lot to get to. Open talk, some other topics I'm going to get to in just a couple of moments. We're live, we're local. We're going to give you everything you need. And I alluded to this in my little pregame post that I put up on X. And by the way, we are streaming on X now, which is really a cool thing. Our YouTube channel, the Odyssey app, you can download it, free app, get it on your phone. KDKA 100.1 FM, AM 1020. And, of course, don't forget the Metropolitan Window video screen where you can see me right now, looking rather dapper, I might add, KDKRadio.com, KDKA Watch. So we have a lot to get to today, plus we got some sports coming up in just a couple of minutes. We got that Steelers report coming up in an hour, so we have got you covered. But as I mentioned, this may be one of the first days in recent weeks, maybe a month, that I've actually come to work either during the weekend gig or the weeknight gig during the week that I haven't used my windshield wipers. Look, I appreciate the rain. Everybody wants to grow a nice garden, right? But I'm tired of cutting grass every 2 days, and I like to get a little liquid sunshine before we have a whole lot of that other stuff, as in snow, okay? All right, I'm just saying, Mother Nature. As always, you can listen to us at 100.1 FM, AM 1020 KDK, or on the Odyssey app, AUDACY. But you can also watch the KDK video stream presented by, as I just mentioned, Metropolitan Window Company. Just go to KDKRadioLive.com and click on Watch KDKA Radio, and that, of course, YouTube page where you can subscribe and see everything happening in our studio. Don't forget, NASCO Roofing instant access to our shows is just a click away at KDKRadio.com. And I got to tell you about this before we get to sports, because I love this event. It's the third annual KDK Radio Kickoff Classic live at Wolverina, August 28th and 29th. Bishop Canavan versus UPrep, Central Catholic versus New Jersey's Begrin Catholic on Friday and Saturday. It's Westinghouse versus Hickory, Clareton versus Farrell, and Woodland Hills versus Newcastle. $14 per ticket or weekend passes, just $28. Get your tickets at KDKARadio.com. All right, that takes care of everything to begin the show. We're going to get to a break, check some sports. And again, number to dial to be on the program, 866-391-1020. 866-391-1020. And for those of you who love Penn Brewery like I have, and there's been some issues there of late, they may get some life after all. Big story in the Post-Gazette. I'm going to fill you in about that and also take some of your calls. Moments away, KDKA, your Pratt Pack, 866-391-1020. Good morning and welcome to the weekend.
Now more than ever, we're the station you can trust for the information you need. KDKA.
News Radio, KDKA, Sports.
Sports brought to you by Coons Quality Foods with 8 locations to serve you. A Pittsburgh tradition. A strong start by Bubba Chandler was boosted by home runs from Rafael Flores Jr. and Brandon Lau as the Pirates beat the Red Sox 8-4 last night in front of 32,036 fans at PNC Park. It marked the first successful wins for the Pirates since they beat Chicago 8-7 on July 26 in Arizona 3-2 the following day. Third baseman Nick Gonzalez was hit in the helmet by a pitch removed from the game with a facial contusion. The Pirates had Gonzalez, who leads the team and was tied for fourth in the majors with a .307 batting average, was evaluated and treated by the medical staff in his day-to-day. Two teams again tonight, 6:40. You can hear it on 93.7 The Fan. Riverhounds host Charleston at FMB tonight, and St. Jude Championship underway through 2 rounds. World number 1, Scotty Scheffler, is your leader at 11 under. He has a 3-shot lead. He shot a second round 61. More sports, 93.7 thefan.com.
I'm pediatric allergist Dr. Carla Davis. If your child has asthma, let's take a breath together and talk. Does your child need to use a quick relief inhaler more than twice a week to treat asthma? Has your child repeatedly awakened at night due to asthma? If you said yes to either of these questions, it's time to talk to an allergy and asthma specialist like me to help you control your child's asthma. If you feel your child's asthma is not under control, go to controlyourasthma.org.
Sponsored by the Allergy and Asthma Network.
Are you paying too much for term life insurance? A man age 50 non-tobacco user can obtain $500,000 of coverage for as little as $110 per month, level rate for 20 years. That's right, guaranteed level rate for 20 years. Call Term Busters for a quote, 1-800-908-7636. You're probably paying more than you should. Call 1-800-908-7636. Sample rate for preferred non-tobacco rate class, exam required to qualify. For details, call 1-800-908-7636. Paid for by Robert Livinger, Insurance Agent.
Listen to KDKA Radio on the Odyssey, iHeartRadio, or TuneIn apps.
The voice of Pittsburgh. 100.1 FM and AM 1020. KDKA.
By the way, this is the final weekend for Alonzo Anderson, who's been doing a great job in recent years with this program. And I just want to take time to say thank you. And he's now kind of helping Kay Davis from that University of Pittsburgh. You may remember her from Next Take. She is here shadowing him today. So great team effort. We're ready to get going. 866-391-1020. All right, Penn Brewery appears headed for closure or a change in ownership. This, according to documents released earlier this week by the U.S. Bankruptcy Court for the Western Pennsylvania District. On August 12th, Judge Carlotta M. Bohm signed an expedited dismissal of the Chapter 11 bankruptcy reorganization petition filed earlier this year by Penn Brewery's ownership. The debtor has reviewed its circumstances and determined that if no reasonable likelihood rehabilitation is unable to propose or confirm a plan to reorganization on August 3rd, filing requested dismissal reads. Now, the debtor is not seeking additional financing and has no source of replacement premises, cannot satisfy lease obligations, and has no committed purchaser and lacks sufficient assets to fund a plan. The only remaining path is liquidation or subsidy all the assets as well. The filing marks a striking reversal from April 2nd social media post in which he described bankruptcy filing in a move to allow us to reset, reorganize, and move forward. Now, in another interview with the Post-Gazette, office manager Lisa Vogt said the brewery was in a hiring phase and noted that the restaurant recently begun opening 7 days a week, up from 4 days a week. So there actually may be some future there. And I'm just saying this. This is a historic landmark. I've admired this thing from up close and afar for many, many years. They make a great product. It's one of those incredible entrepreneur success stories. So I'm hoping that somehow, some way, they can rise from the ashes. Look, it has been a very difficult time. Let me just say this. It is a modern miracle that as many businesses have survived as they have, coming through what we went through from February 2020 for about 5 years, that pandemic. Honestly, if it wasn't for the federal government in many cases, a lot of businesses wouldn't have made it, large or small. Families wouldn't have made it, so we always need to be grateful for that. But when you look at the business matrix and you look at the city of Pittsburgh, for the most part, and now with the new leadership, the O'Connor administration and people like Rachel Heisler, we're headed in the right direction. But we had more of a base than most. If you look at some of these other places, they're really suffering. And the thing that I've often said, you have to be able to hang on to what made you, who you are, who brought you to the dance, right? And Penn Brewery is as significant to this region as anything else. You know, I mean, it's massive to who we are. And all the Oktoberfest, all the memories, you know, you see the beer out and about. It's just it's a good thing. And it's in a location in this great city that has a lot of historical value to it. So a nice article in the Post-Gazette, but hopefully, as the headline read, in a striking reversal, Penn Brewery ends Chapter 11 bankruptcy protection in preparation for possible sale. That's music to my ears, and I surely hope it does come true because we need that place a part of this region. 866-391-1020. Here's Kenny, Lower Borough, our leadoff man on Saturday here at KDK. Good morning, Kenny.
Rob, good morning. Again, a couple of things. This rain is killing me. I mean, the grass is growing like crazy.
Ridiculous.
Oh,
I understand people want their gardens, but this, I mean, right now with the price of fuel, where it still is high, if you're a landscaper, this has got to be hurting you. I mean, you're like, I know, I've been out there every 2 or 3 days.
Oh, no, this is, you know, what the price of gas is like, it's nothing compared to the money you're making down the other end. Your biggest thing is at this point in time, is like lawnmowers and stuff like that.
Wear and tear.
Breaking down. That's high-end stuff. I'm getting a lot of calls. I mean, if you're a fertilizer company, you shouldn't even be out there today because we don't need you. Sit at home. The grass is growing too fast right now, and like I said, that's a bad thing for us. I mean, last year at this time, once every 2 weeks, once every 3 weeks, I'm cutting the yard. It's every 5-6 days. And it's getting worse because we're going into fall. So,
well, but Kenny, here's the other thing. You got to get out there some days, even when it's moist and wet and soaked, because if you don't know how much more rain you're going to get. So you got to take every wind. I mean, I actually cut my grass one day this week at like 8 o'clock in the morning. I mean, and then another day at like 10 o'clock, and then you got a rake, you got the clubs of grass. I mean, it's a pain in the tuchus, no doubt.
Clumps are terrible. An hour ago, I've hosed my mowers, cleaned them up. It was dark. I have spotlights, and my truck hosed off. It's a disaster. I mean, the money's good, but like I said, if you don't have the machinery this year, if you have 1 or 2 mowers or 3 mowers, you're not doing well. The easy turns, the big ones, the ground's too soft. You're mudding up people's yards. I mean, to sit there and say, I've cut wet grass for 40 years, and my machines are stinking.
Kenny, let me ask you something, because you're the professional. Have you ever seen rain like this time of year?
I have, but it's been a few years. There was a year that it rained at night almost every night, which was good because I could cut during the day. But looking at the weather, they can't even get the future casts are so far off. It was supposed to be raining yesterday morning.
What are they saying? What are they saying about today? I haven't even seen it yet.
Should be good today. I was watching Mary R's. Looks like tomorrow morning is going to be a disaster. I mean, what
do you mean? More rain? More rain tomorrow?
Yeah, more rain tomorrow. It's just going to get worse. And if this turns into snow, I've already actually yesterday I called and canceled my winter snow shoveling contract. I'm too old for this. If this turns into snow, we're in trouble.
You mean if this carries over to the snow this season? That's what you're talking about, right?
Oh, correct.
Okay.
This could be bad. I mean, I'd rather it not do that. I'd like to see a warm, long season going into the end of December while I'm still cutting grass. But I don't think that's going to happen this year. I had a couple of comments. I had checked on a couple of things this week. I know you're big into jobs, union jobs, and so am I. You know, I wish we could have the jobs out there for people. But I'm looking, and I've talked to a few people in hiring, and you know what? This is the bad part about this region. And some of the steel mills up this way, municipal authorities that I talk to, people that hire, it's like almost 9 out of 10 people can't pass the drug test. And those are good jobs. That's the bad part about this region. But anyway, I was checking on Florida, and I was checking on West Virginia, which things are in a red state. They are a lot cheaper. Now, this is what scares me about. I've been warning you for a while. Now, Florida has it in their legislature, I guess, and I think it passed it may have passed the House or Senate down there. I don't know what it was. They're looking to eliminate property tax. Now, I'm looking at county and city taxes. School tax down there will still be in place, supposedly, how this is going to work. But if Florida does that and gets this right, a lot of other red states like South Carolina, they're going to follow suit. And you're going to see this region go. I mean, because you're looking at what we're going to have another tax increase if they reassess. They want to do that in Allegheny County. Plus, the pension system for the county. Now I'm hearing 911 is broke in Allegheny County. Did you hear that?
No, I have not. I hope that's not the case.
Well, they said something about tacking. Well, they don't consider that a tax. They tack it, I guess, onto your phone bill. So that's going to be a fee. So just another fee, which is a tax. So like I said, I think your station reported on that. And I didn't look into that. But if that's true, it keeps piling up. What other leg is going to fall next?
So look, you balance your books. You know what it's like to run a business, and government is a business, whether anybody wants to admit it or not. Other than slashing government jobs, what do we do to listen? I'm going to have some thoughts this weekend too, as we get ready to send our kids back to school or grandkids, and I have grandkids headed back to school. My kids are all grown, but if we don't find a way to start getting some cash into our public schools, I'm fearful that there may be some school districts that don't merge or co-op but literally disappear.
Well, there was, and my research officer did this about 5-6 years ago. There was two districts that did merge. I can't remember what they were, but anyway, they merged and they pledged, we're going to lower taxes and all this stuff. They did not. They actually increased taxes and fees. Everything went higher in that district. So what they're going to have to do, and I'm sorry to say, you're going to have to do what you don't want to do, and you're going to have to copy a state that is business-friendly. I understand government shouldn't be a business. Government shouldn't be buying properties. Government shouldn't be turning big swaths of commercial property into nonprofits. It just shouldn't happen. And look at the areas. I mean, look at the areas that are profiting. These guys are copying. You need to copy, and you're not. You're staying with the same plan, and you're getting the same result. I mean, they're going to call in, and they're going to say about Trump did this, Trump did that. Yeah, but Trump wasn't there like 90 years ago when this started, and it's going to get worse. I mean, you look at the school tax, which over here in Westmoreland County, they came in. Every time they raise the school tax, the kids need this. The kids say, no, it's going to teachers' pensions.
Well, listen, the thing you got to do, you can't keep relying on the people who live in your community. You got to find a way to get business to move into your community and give that money that is much needed to these school districts. People can only do so much. Kenny, I got to get to a break, buddy. Stay dry out there. Enjoy your day. Always great hearing from you to start the program off. 866-391-1020. Is there really a way to save our current public education as we see it? I believe there is, and I'm going to tell you what I think needs to be done. Not like today. It should have been done yesterday. That's coming up right after ABC News, which is just a few minutes away on a Saturday morning on KDKA.
My name is Whitney Allen, and I'm a widow. My husband, Ryan, died. We never thought we'd ever have to use life insurance, but the unexpected happened. With Ethos, signing up was fast and 100% online. You can get a quote in seconds, apply in minutes, and get same-day coverage. No medical exams, and you can get up to $3 million worth of coverage. I'm grateful we were prepared.
Get your free quote at ethos.com/radio. That's ethos.com/radio. Paid spokesperson. Time spent on application may vary. Online health questions required.
Tune in this Sunday morning at 8 for the Coons Cooking Hour with Rob Pratt and the Coons Market team when they discuss how to store and cook with herbs and spices. It's the Coons Cooking Hour, presented by Coons Market, your hometown Pittsburgh grocer.
While you sleep, There are people you've never met who are working hard to make your morning. People who get up at ungodly hours to make sure you get the information you want. People who dedicate their lives to make yours better while you sleep. These people come together during the Big K Morning Show with Larry Richert, 5:30 to 10 in the morning, to make sure you have the best news, traffic, and weather to start your day. 100.1 FM and AM 1020 KDKA. From the Aetna Medicare Studios.
Proud to be the voice of Pittsburgh. 100.1 FM and AM 1020 KDKA.
ABC News, I'm Dave Packer. Luigi Mangione has officially pleaded guilty to 2 federal charges, and in open court, he had admitted to killing United Healthcare CEO Brian Thompson in December of 2024. Tears from Thompson's family inside the courtroom, but outside.
To some, Mangione became a folk hero, the face of their cause. But fewer supporters showed up, a few sobbing in the hallway. Still, as the Thompson family was rushed from the courthouse to a waiting car, chants of America loves Luigi.
ABC's Aaron Katursky. Tropical storm Lala on a collision course with Hawaii. It could become a Category 1 hurricane by Saturday morning. In Indonesia, at least 2 people dead and collapsed buildings and homes after a powerful magnitude 7.7 earthquake off the coast. The U.S. Army ordering a temporary stand-down of all AH-64 Apache helicopter training flight operations pending an investigation into that deadly crash near Fort Hood, Texas. This is ABC News.
The KDKA AccuWeather forecast is brought to you by JP Roofing and Siding, Pittsburgh's #1 Platinum Preferred Roofing Replacement Contractor. Call 412-829-7711.
Under a partly cloudy sky tonight, it will be muggy with a low of 64. It will be humid throughout the day on Saturday with a partly sunny sky, a high of 84. Breezy and humid Sunday with a thunderstorm or 2, high 83. For AccuWeather, I'm meteorologist Brian Thompson, 100.1 FM and AM 1020 KDKA.
All right, so let me just kind of get to the A, B, and C's of why this is an important story. You know, school starts for most districts in the next couple of days, and it's off and running for another school year. 2 lead pencils, tablets, all the things that you need to educate, right? Well, if we do not find a way to get some cash into these school districts and even do a very close look into more mergers, make it like a precedent for the next governor, whether it's the return of Josh Shapiro or Stacey Garrity, we are going to lose everything that is the future. Because what will happen, you'll have a collapse of the system. You'll have more kids tuning out and dropping out or moving out of Pennsylvania to better places. You'll have more cyber charter schools, more private schools. The parochial schools will continue to flourish. And at this point, when you think about it, they're probably the most successful. Classroom size, obviously, opportunities, extracurriculars. And I know a lot of people, including my own 2 children, who matriculated from kindergarten to high school through Catholic education. And they not only survived, but they thrived. But I am a big proponent of brick and mortar. Every child, I believe, to have that experience of sitting in a classroom on a rainy morning as the fog is lifting and the buses are pulling out and you're getting ready for your very first day of your very next year. It's essential. Cafeteria, extracurricular activity, Friday night football, cheerleaders, band, student body. I mean, athletes. It's everything. That school play at the end of the year. It's what carves out our life, does it not? But that's the heartbeat of who we are. Be true to your school. That's why so many mergers don't take place, because people don't want to give up their mascot. They don't want to give up their school fight song. They don't want to give up their school yearbook. But don't you understand, if we don't start finding a way to get cash flow, it's going to go away whether we want it to or not. But here's the thing. This is just an example. And Audrey Russo brought this up the other night, the CEO of the Pittsburgh Technology Council. There's a school district where there's the possibility of a data center going in. But again, we got a lot of stuff to do before we get to the end of making the decision or not just on this one, but others. But there is conversation about one school district where it's getting very close to that decision will be made with a data center. And this school district operates on $20 million a year. And I know that's hard to understand, but I'm going to get to all of that in a moment too. But if they get the data center, and all of these data centers, we're talking the Microsofts of the world, the Apples, the Metas, the ones that have really made the business component work like Big Steel did years ago, are willing to pay the freight. You've never heard any of them say, well, we want to come to your neck of the woods, but you got to give us a couple of tax breaks. Never. They want to pay the freight. They want to make sure they get the best of the building trades, the carpenters, electricians, and plumbers on the job, doing the job. That school district will get an additional $9 million a year. Now, there is not one school district that is being recognized by somebody saying, well, what about my school district? What about my school district? Listening to me on this Saturday morning that could not use an extra $9 million. We have to open up the floodgates. We have to let business come in. And this data centers, I'll give you some time. Democrats, Republicans, people who are holding meetings in their communities on a regular basis, I understand there are questions. But if you do not find a way, even if it's out of the way, but still in your district, to get this done, they will be built somewhere else. And school districts will benefit. Imagine if you want to be true to your school and you want to keep your school, if you're a 1A or a 2A or even a 3A school district, that you're graduating under 100 or barely over 100 and no more than 150, what would an extra $9 million, I'm not going to say that's going to be the status quo, but what would an extra $9 million mean to you? You know, this is what I have seen in my life. I covered sports, but this has nothing to do with sports. For 20 years, I did play-by-play. I traveled West Virginia, Eastern Ohio, Western Pennsylvania, and I've seen them all. And I can remember back in the day, schools that are now 2A and 1A were the Mecca. They had the beautiful painted press box, the pristine bleachers, the best refreshment stands, the track that went around the football field, the lighting, pristine, the parking, incredible, cars spilling out into various parking lots of other businesses surrounding that Friday Night Light experience. And in recent years, on my own dime, I just wanted to take time and kind of go back and meet all of the people that are now coaching some of these teams, not just in the smaller schools, but in the 6As and 5As, because I'm connected to them all. Either a coach now coaching who I covered as a player, or a player who I know or know their parents. I've been there, done that. I've seen it all. But as I was doing this year 2, year 3, year 4, not doing it anymore, I did it to promote what we're doing here at KDKA with Odyssey, because it is one of the most important things I think we've ever done during my tenure here, because it's about community. It brings people together on Friday nights, and you get a chance to experience what was one of the most important things in this region. Community. That's why public education is important. That's why that experience of Friday night is important. But the thing that I noticed along the way, when I would drop down to a 2A or 3A school because it was in my comfort zone, that's where I grew up, I noticed that those football stadiums weren't as freshly painted as they once were. And that artificial turf that everybody wants, they didn't have. And the bleachers could have used a tune-up, and the parking lot could have been repaved, and weight rooms were not what they needed to be. Yes, I want every student athlete, every young man or woman, every high school to at least have an opportunity to put a fresh coat of paint on it. And if a data center can come into a region and give an extra $9 million to a school district like the one I mentioned early, who is just like a 2A school, that's a game changer, because it's just not about athletics. It's not about your football field. It's about making sure that every child has the tools that they need to get educated. It's about giving teachers everything they need to do, including a good paycheck, and well-deserved it is, but also giving administrators a chance to say, you know what, we got to fix that roof. No problem, we have it. Just imagine the smiles that are being forced year in and year out by school teachers and administrators as those kids get off the bus, all joyful, looking at the year ahead, knowing that there's no money in the bank. And I can tell you right now, I know firsthand, maybe even listening to me right now, one of you, teachers that are going into their classroom, if they haven't already, because the school year for many starts on Monday, that have taken money out of their own checking, their own savings, their own pocketbook to get some of the things that they need. Maybe a box of crayon or some pencils or tablets or some art paper. It shouldn't be that way in the United States of America. So let me just say this. We have another opportunity with all the resources that are out there. It's like they're giving us another chance. They're saying, you know what? We believe in you because we saw what you did with the industrial age. We saw how you built these schools in Main Street and these communities and had millions of dollars worth of paychecks being pumped into the community so people could actually live the American dream. You know what? We're going to give it to you again. That's why nuclear energy, natural gas, all of this stuff that I talk about, energy, independence, technology, data. Look, I would have never thought when I got my first smartphone a very long time ago, being able to click on the World Wide Web and all the apps that came with it years later, that someday you would need a tower to, well, save the data, produce the data, generate the data. So once again, this is an added bonus. This is another opportunity, just like it was when they were building power plants back 30, 40, 50 years ago, when the smokestacks were billowing smoke into the night air. We have that kind of opportunity, and it'll be much safer, and we'll have a better chance now than ever to be able to move to the future. But without a solid school district and a foundation, it's not going to happen. It's not going to happen. I want you to come back tomorrow morning because I'm putting together something about a possible data center at a former racetrack in Beaver County that I've been following and studying, and I'm going to have some comments first thing tomorrow morning on that. Got a couple more pieces of the puzzle that I got to put together, but I want to continue this theme to the top of the hour, then we'll shift gears and get into some other stuff. And you know you're always welcome to join me, 866-391-1020. Are you concerned about our public education? I mean, I can't believe if you're a grown adult and you have children or grandchildren, or even if you don't, you see what you're paying in school taxes, right? You understand what you're paying in school taxes, right? Everybody knows what's coming out of your mortgage, right? Or if your house is paid off, the check that you're stroking. You know. And can you honestly say, when you look at your school district, unless it's one of these Taj Mahals, which are a thing of beauty for sure, that you're actually getting a big bang for your buck? Is that money being used to its best potential? And why is it that you have Pennsylvania in need of special education teachers, teaching as far as the numbers every graduating year from one of our state universities, from one of these colleges in our region or throughout the country, down by 10%, down by more each and every year? That's a frightening statistic. It's like we talk about law enforcement. One of the big problems, the rank and file, there are more retiring than coming into the police academy. Do you understand it's getting to that point, too, in education? You have more teachers retiring and no one coming in. And the PSEA does a great job, and they are dedicated to their teachers who put in the time and the sweat equity. And, you know, caller says teachers' pensions. Well, guess what? They deserve it. They work for it. It's like government pensions. They deserve it. They work for it. It's your pension. You work for it. You deserve it. I mean, we should not be pointing fingers at people who put in their time to draw their pension when their time comes. It's a promise well kept, because that's what you do when it comes to somebody's job and performance. You tell them, this is the resume, you fill it out, this is the opportunity, show me your performance, make me believe that you're worth keeping and staying for a decade or 2 or 3, and at the end of that time, you get a chance to say goodbye. But you get a chance to have the pension that you so rightfully deserve. I'm tired of always trying to play the blame game and saying we're paying too much for this, we're paying too much for that. Cut government, cut the pensions, get rid of it all. You wouldn't be saying that if it was you. We have to understand, whether we like certain things or not, there are certain things that have to be a part of our country. And education is one of them. And I can tell you, if you grew up in the 60s, nobody ever complained about the price of education. And I'm going to talk about why we are coming down to a century, and many of these schools haven't had anything done to them other than the bells and whistles to keep the lights on since. And why we could be facing an incredible crisis when it comes to buildings in Western Pennsylvania and the Commonwealth when it comes to education. 866-391-1020. Former teachers always welcome. Current teachers always welcome. You're out there every day. You see it. You understand it. Make them believe what I'm telling is the truth. We'll be back.
When you need to know, depend on the news leader. At home, in your car, or at work. The voice of Pittsburgh. 100.1 FM, AM 1020, and KDKA-radio.com. News Radio, KDKA, Sports.
Sports brought to you by Coons Quality Foods with 8 locations to serve your Pittsburgh tradition. A strong start by Bubba Chandler was boosted by home runs from Rafael Flores Jr. and Brandon Lau as the Pirates beat the Red Sox 8-4 last night in front of 32,036 fans at PNC Park. It marked the first successful wins for the Pirates since they beat Chicago 8-7 on July 26 in Arizona 3-2 the following day. Third baseman Nick Gonzalez was hit in the helmet by a pitch removed from the game with a facial contusion. The Pirates had Gonzalez, who leads the team and was tied for fourth in the majors with a .307 batting average, was evaluated and treated by the medical staff in his day-to-day. Two teams again tonight, 6:40. You can hear it on 93.7 The Fan. Riverhounds host Charleston at FMB tonight, and St. Jude Championship underway through 2 rounds. World number 1, Scotty Scheffler, is your leader at 11 under. He has a 3-shot lead. He shot a second round 61. More sports, 93.7thefan.com.
Everything you need, every time you listen. 100.1 FM and AM 1020, KDKA.
All right, give it to me, Anthony. What's on your mind today? Welcome to the show, buddy. How are you?
Thank you, Rob. Rob, I just saw a list of, you remember 40 years ago, that list of most livable cities in America, and Pittsburgh topped it.
Yes, I do.
Well, I just saw a new list. There are no Rust Belt cities at all on this list. As a matter of fact, the list went to the top 100. Pittsburgh was nowhere near it. Very few Rust Belt northeastern cities were near it. And they gave the reasons why. Overregulated, high taxes, population exodus. You were talking about school funding. The Commonwealth of Pennsylvania has some of the highest per capita monies towards school districts. It's not a money problem. We in Allegheny County have a population problem. We have a population exodus. When I worked at U.S. Steel building in the early 70s, David Roderick used to have the population list on his desk. And Pittsburgh at that time had close to 900,000 people. I just saw the census. I guess the last time they did was 2010. It was 300,000 and dropping. Wow. That's a mass exodus of population in this county, man. So we've lost businesses. You know, Pittsburgh was the third business capital in the country in the early 70s, behind New York and Chicago.
Wow.
And Pittsburgh, they were third. Yeah, and I can name you the companies, Golf and Admiral Television was here, and I mean, it was a long laundry list. They're gone, man. And so this Commonwealth has done a very poor job of, like I said, overregulation and high taxes. We can't compete with the South and the southwestern cities. The top 10, all the cities were in the South and Southwest. And what do they have in common? Almost zero regulation and populations leaving the North Rust Belt, going there, and low taxes. So if the Rust Belt keeps at this stage, we're not going to have anybody living up here. You'll be able to, and that includes some of the Republican suburbs, because your Commonwealth taxes too high, period, and overregulation. Like everyone's fighting about the AI. The Chinese are back at home laughing at us.
Yep.
Because they'll put AI anywhere they want to. Okay? And listen, Rob, I just saw a video. The Chinese say that they're not going to fight they're not going to fight wars with human beings. They are already making thousands and thousands of weaponized robots that humans will control. We're sitting over here, our TikTok is showing people dancing. Their TikTok is showing kids science.
So do you think that they believe that in the end, and that end could be sooner than later, that there will be a war, winner take all? Do you think they're preparing their mindset because of stories like that?
Absolutely. Listen, people around here, I was laughing at these people. They were marveling at the bridge that was built in the Parkway East. You know how they was mobile bridge? They were able to move that bridge over. Oh, there are all these politicians and everybody slapping themselves on the back. Rob, the Chinese have been doing that for 30 years.
Wow.
It's no big deal.
I didn't know that.
So we're falling behind with a bunch of utter nonsense. We're not helping. Or listen, you know I am a proponent of immigration. I don't want illegal immigration. But, Rob, you can't cut out the scientists. Most of the Googles and things came from India and people who merged here with all these great ideas. The Trump administration is cutting those people's visas too. So where are they going? They're going to they're going to the Saudis. Now the Saudis are talking about doing the same because they have an agreement with the Chinese, doing the same thing. We're sitting over here. We've got a ship that's been at sea for over 200 days. Man, they're going to have autonomized ships. I mean, we better get it together, United States, or we're already trillions in debt. I mean, I tell my kids all the time, yes, I wish I was younger, but thank God I am 70. Well, I don't have to see the calamity.
Let me jump in here real quick. You brought a lot of things to the table. So is there a way out? Is there a way to build back? Not in our lifetime, but I mean, if we start something in a handful of years, we can maybe not be where we once were, but at least be heading in that direction in the next 10 or 15 years. Any thought on what we could do?
If I were president, the first thing I would do is I would have no tariffs on any country. That's the first thing I would do. No tariffs. We'd have agreements with all the countries, even the countries we disagree with. I wouldn't have any embargoes of any country. None. Why would I have an embargo on a Cuba that's 90 miles off my shore where all those people could be buying American goods? Why would I do that? For what? For some ideology? Why would I have tariffs on the Chinese? I would be working with the Chinese. Because here we are. We're Road Warrior. You remember that movie Road Warrior?
Yep.
And they're T2, Terminator 2. That's what it looks like right now.
But what about but what about locally, Anthony? I mean, here, Pittsburgh, the city you grew up in. What do we do here?
You have to. First thing, what you have to do is have an exec who understands you have to balance the books. So you cut non-essential workers. That's the first thing you do. You have far too much property that the county and city owns. Sell that property to private interests and get them to fix it up. Charge them $1 as long as they're going to fix it up and make sure that they could do something with it. Yes, you can embrace big business, but the largest employer in this country are small business. Do everything you can to make sure the small business survives. And what you don't do, the small business, is give them a mandate that says they have to pay paternity leave for 18 weeks.
Yeah, with all due respect,
so
and I understand the thought process, but that could really bankrupt some of these companies. Especially the small business.
Well, that's the blueprint. And you listen, encourage private schools too. And then in the public schools, make sure you mandate discipline. We don't have a funding problem for these schools. We've got a discipline problem for these schools. These kids don't come to school. They don't want to learn. They come here, it's a party. And so the kids who want to learn get hurt because they're in a public school where you can't single them out. That's why I would invest money in private schools. I'd get some entrepreneurs like Musk and all them to invest because I'd make sure that it's advantageous to them. I said, listen, to compete with the Chinese, we need the smartest kids we can. So invest in private schools, Catholic schools, who give you a better education at half the cost as the public schools. That's just a fact.
Listen,
They have discipline.
This sounds good, Anthony. I appreciate it, buddy. Good stuff. I wanted to finish up on this school thing, and then we'll get into something else next hour, because the first day of school, days away. Look, I was in a community yesterday doing some social media stuff just to spread some hope and to talk to people and to just, be a part of what I'd been doing with this social media thing for 15 years now, and going to try to slow it down a little bit, because I need to slow it down a little bit. But I've been on this mission ever since I got out of television. I just felt the need to kind of cross-promote what I'm doing here at KDK, but to go out and really share just some hope with people in various communities, West Virginia, Ohio, Pennsylvania. And I had a guy on with me who was a member of a school board. And he said something that really was astounding to me. And I was planning my weekend shows, as I do when I'm out of the home studio or I'm on the road or I'm not here. I'm always planning, always looking, grabbing, scrolling, right? And he said, we have a school, and they've got a really good school district. He said, the building's like 100 years old. So I started doing a little research, and another, and 105, and 110, and 120, and 90, and 85. So I just kept seeing all of these numbers, and I'm like, my house is over 100 years old. And after I rented for 10 years, when I bought it, I needed to really overhaul it. I needed to put a new fence in the backyard. I needed to put a new roof. I needed to do windows. And dear God, I don't want to do any more ever. But what I'm saying to you, that's just my little pittance of a house. All right? These schools, they need a new roof. They need new windows. They need electrical work done, plumbing work done, the custodian on duty, the man or woman. They need utensils and cleaning supplies and all the things that you have in your house, a good sweeper, all that stuff. Be able to remove snow, cut the grass. And when you start adding up, putting a roof on a school as opposed to a house, different story. Windows, school, house, different story. I just feel what these school districts should do, too, is deal with local contractors, local companies. They should form some sort of business plan, get them together, have them come to school board meetings, talk about their companies, what they have to offer, and whether it's HVAC or whatever it is, have them on a rotating basis. Have them come in, do the due diligence, do the maintenance. I don't care if it's trimming your trees, your shrubs, all of it. Just like you run your home, these school districts have to have certain people on speed dial. And instead of coming when there's a problem, have them show up for a little checkup to make sure that the roof is good going into the school year. Make sure that the windows are good going into the school year. Make sure the HVAC is good. The cracks in the concrete are fixed. It's better to stay on top of things. Now, I'm not saying they're not doing this, but when all of a sudden you have a major issue that you've been putting a Band-Aid on for years, knowing sooner or later you're going to have to pay the piper, can't do it that way. One of the things about home ownership, and I've owned a few homes, and some say I'm a little over the top, but that's who I am, you got to have rotation. You got to have people painting in one room and coming back in just a short time painting another room. Coming back, taking care of something in the way of plumbing, taking care of something in the way of electrical work. Rotating, HVAC. There's a reason why it's a spring and a winter checkup. You just got to stay on top of this thing because every cent counts. But we're never going to be able to make sense of it all unless we start bringing more money into these school districts. All right, coming up, we're going to talk more about these data centers and why I think it could be a big ticket item for many of these schools in Main Street America when we come back after Rob checks the news. Next at 6. It's your Pratt Pack.
The Big K Morning Show with Larry Richards.
President of Point Park University, Chris Purcell, and the mayor of Bradenton, Florida, Gene Brown.
I think it's an incredible opportunity for us to consider another location in Bradenton, Florida.
Genius. I love this. You're going to be forced to come to Pittsburgh more, Mayor. And Chris, I'm sorry, you're going to have to go to Florida more.
Weekday mornings 5:30 to 10 on the Voice of Pittsburgh, 100.1 FM and AM 1020. KDKA.
Every time I've had CertaPro painters do work on my home, I really appreciate their professionalism. They make it worry-free, and it starts with a free estimate, all at the right price. And I love that each CertaPro painter's business is independently owned and operated. Hi, this is Larry Richard. It's the perfect time to reach out, get CertaPro painters to visit your home. Schedule your free estimate online at CertaPro.com. That's Certa with a C. You'll be so glad you did. Trust CertaPro Painters.
Listen to KDKA Radio on the Odyssey, iHeartRadio, or TuneIn apps.
KDKA and KDKA-FM HD2 Pittsburgh. W261AX Pittsburgh.
Always live on the free Odyssey app. From the Aetna Medicare studios.
Proud to be the voice of Pittsburgh. 100.1 FM and AM 1020 KDKA.
It is 67 degrees at Pittsburgh International at 6 o'clock. I'm Rob Taylor. A day after a Pittsburgh police officer shot a man in the Lincoln-Leamington neighborhood following an altercation, the man who was shot has now been charged with aggravated assault. 50-year-old Maurice Manson is in the hospital this morning after being shot Thursday night along Lyric Street in Lincoln-Leamington. Police were called to the scene as 3 men were reportedly involved in an altercation, arguing and threatening to pull guns on each other. An officer ordered Manson to drop his gun, but according to a criminal complaint, Manson allegedly turned towards that responding officer and allegedly raised his right arm in a general upward direction, and that's when one of the officers shot Manson. The officer has been placed on administrative leave pending an investigation. An 8-year-old boy died following a mishap with farm equipment. This happened in Stoneboro, Mercer County, Friday on Slater Road. Police say the mishap with that farm equipment caused blunt force trauma to the head. The death has been ruled accidental. The name of the child has not been released. Police continue to look for the driver who hit and killed a man in Kennedy Township and then drove away. Police say it happened along Pine Hollow Road just after midnight Friday morning, where a man was found in the road. That man, identified as 72-year-old Wayne McGinley, taken to the hospital where he later died. McGinley's neighbor tells KDKA-TV it's hard to come to terms why anyone would just keep driving.
It's terrible. To me, I don't care even if you hit a deer, you got to stop. I mean, to leave them laying in a road like that, there's no call for that. None. I hope they get the guy or whoever.
County police say the search for the hit-and-run driver is ongoing, and they're asking the public to come forward with any information with what happened. It's one of the first and largest Hindu temples in North America, and now a Monroeville landmark is celebrating its 50th anniversary this weekend. Here's News Radio KDK's David Ballarado.
Sri Venkateswara Temple opened its doors to the Hindu community in 1976 and has continued to grow over the past half-century, attracting as many as 5,000 to 6,000 devotees each week, not only from around here, but from as far away as California and Canada, as demonstrated by the number of Canadian buses outside the temple each weekend. Chairman of the Board of Directors, Thulasalam Rajan, says events scheduled through Sunday give the non-Hindu community a chance to learn more about the temple and its history.
We do have cultural events, we do have educational events going on, we have humanitarian drives, outreach to the community, and we've been serving to the community for almost 50 years since its inception.
Rajan says even though there are hundreds of temples across the United States and Canada, Sri Venkateswara attracts so many people in part because of its history and because it performs the same rituals as a temple with a similar name in India. David Ballarado, News Radio KDKA.
KDKA Radio News Time 6:03. The AccuWeather forecast coming up.
In Pittsburgh, Chase is proud to root for the home team because they're our team too. We cheer from the bleachers and on the sidelines. We cheer for gymnasts and quarterbacks. And with more than 25 local Chase branches and 5,000 nationwide, we are right beside you, Pittsburgh. Neighborhood bankers, digital tools, national strength. Chase, make more of what's yours.
JP Morgan Chase Bank, N.A. member FDIC.
Long live the king.
Return to the magic and mystique of the Renaissance. The Pittsburgh Renaissance Festival just southeast of Pittsburgh is back. August 22nd and 23rd is opening weekend.
It's entertainment. It's fantasy.
It's an adventure. To the past.
filled with royalty, pageantry, jugglers and musicians, comedy, games, fine arts and crafts at the Pittsburgh Renaissance Festival. Discount tickets at pittsburghrenfest.com.
My name is Whitney Allen, and I'm a widow. My husband, Ryan, died. We never thought we'd ever have to use life insurance, but the unexpected happened. With Ethos, signing up was fast and 100% online. You can get a quote in seconds, apply in minutes, and get same-day coverage. No medical exams, and you can get up to $3 million worth of coverage. I'm grateful we were prepared.
Get your free quote at ethos.com/radio. That's ethos.com/radio. Paid spokesperson. Time spent on application may vary. Online health questions required.
August is Sandwich Month, and Easy Cater is rolling out a new surprise deal every week from August 3rd through 30th. That means every order of delicious sandwiches for your team comes with a side of something special just for you. From cheesesteaks and cubanos to pita pockets and pastrami, Easy Cater makes it easy to bring everyone's favorite sandwiches to work and rack up big rewards while you're at it. New week, new deal, all August long. Visit easycater.com to place your next order and take a bite out of Sandwich Month. Restrictions apply. See offer details at easycater.com.
The KDKA AccuWeather Forecast is brought to you by JP Roofing and Siding, Pittsburgh's #1 Platinum Preferred Roofing Replacement Contractor. Call 412-829-7711.
Partly cloudy through the overnight hours, a low of 64. Partly sunny, still somewhat humid on Saturday with a high of 84. And there could be a thunderstorm in spots throughout Saturday night, low around 71 degrees. For AccuWeather, I'm meteorologist Brian Thompson, 100.1 FM and AM 1020 KDKA.
All right, first conversation on a Saturday in the 6 o'clock hour is always with my anchor, the one and only, and also the editor for the New Pittsburgh Courier. He is Rob Taylor. Rob, Brother Marlon, man, this guy lets no grass grow under his feet, man. I'm going to tell you, that social media page of the New Pittsburgh Courier, it keeps this grizzled, I should say, broadcast veteran company as I'm in the home studio late at night trying to just figure out what I'm going to do the next day. I always just take a little time out to see what you guys are doing. And there's nobody around the city as much, maybe KDK Radio, but you guys are out there definitely making your presence felt, man.
Yeah, well, speaking of Brother Marlon, of course, who does the gospel program on Sundays on our sister station, Whammo. Obviously, he's a photographer with the Courier, but, so much more. He covered the Steeler preseason game.
I saw that.
And is reporting live from the field now, in addition to his photography work. So you can see that on the New Pittsburgh Courier Facebook page. And, I guess speaking of the Steelers, everybody's trying to figure out, do we have our franchise quarterback? But I think it's, it was preseason game number 1. And as people said, Drew Aller, he did look good. But remember that, and I didn't say this, I guess I am saying it, most of the people he was throwing against for the Packers, they said, Pony on 93.7 The Fan said a lot of them will be working for Amazon soon. But it was still a good showing.
Well, listen, I got my Steeler report coming up in about 8 minutes. Jeremy Bernard out of Alabama, that's my focus. He really had a good football game.
Yeah, breaking those tackles, a 25-yard gain, and that was a good run. He has the oversized helmet as well, so that looked pretty good out there.
Let's forget about sports and let's talk about what really matters, money. Think about the Pirates. They had 36,000 there last night. The Steelers recently had a preseason game, and they still come out, preseason or not. The business matrix for the city, and I see what you're doing. I see what Tamara and others in our newsroom are out and about, and David. Man, there's a lot of juice still, a lot of things to be excited about in Pittsburgh. And when people come and they're bringing that money, that's a good thing. And Pittsburgh had a nice night on Thursday, and they had a nice night last night that's probably going to carry through the weekend because Boston will be here today and tomorrow.
Yeah, I'm just thinking about all the summer festivals that Pittsburgh had when it came to whether it was the Juneteenth Festival, whether it was Picklesburg, the Three Rivers Arts Festival, so many things happening. Obviously, we have Little Italy Days.
Big time.
Yeah,
yep, so this weekend.
So, yeah, now you add the Steelers back into the mix, and now not just the Steelers of, are we going to be a 9-8 team? Now it's like, real hope that this team could possibly go deep into the playoffs. And you know how it is around Pittsburgh when the Steelers make the playoffs and keep going.
Back in the day when we were doing everything in the world of sports, yours truly, we kind of got together and crunched some numbers and checked in with the city. Back then, now this was over a decade ago, but whenever the city has a playoff football game, it's like an extra $20 million coming to the city of Pittsburgh. That's really good business, man.
Yeah, that's what I'm talking about right there, because we're just building on this momentum, and Pittsburgh is very, very fun when there's a lot going on. I mean, because we're so congested, it's so densely populated downtown, and just everybody's everywhere. I mean, I was actually downtown last night after the Pirates did what they did against the who'd they play? Was that
Boston?
Boston, that's right.
Yeah.
It was like you said, over 30,000 people there. And remember, this is for a team that's coming into the series, 4 games under 500.
I know.
So there was definitely excitement downtown. So I'm hoping that the Pirates can kind of keep this going. But either way, there was excitement and people were spending money downtown, North Shore. So I like that feeling on those Friday and Saturday nights when there's a lot going on.
What's your favorite food downtown? If you had your pick, any restaurant, I'm buying. Where would you want to go?
What is that place? Is that called City? What's that Market Square? It's kind of like a sports restaurant. City. I don't know what it is.
All I know is the Oyster House. That's good enough for me in Market Square.
Yeah, I mean, there's this place in Market Square. It's got all the TVs. I'm trying to remember exactly what it is, but I like that place. V3 is like a pizza spot downtown. So I don't need anything too complicated.
Listen, a slice will do.
Yeah, just give me a slice, give me a burger.
Listen, my go-to place has always been the Strip. Woolly's fish sandwich, incredible.
Oh, right.
Pepperoni roll, Jimmy Sinceri, Jimmy and Nino's place. I'm telling you, there's so much good in downtown Pittsburgh.
Yeah, I kind of like there's a Mad Chicken. On Liberty Avenue.
Yeah.
It's open it's open like till 2 a.m. So I'll be sneaking down there like give me an 8-piece boneless.
Are they open at like 2 a.m?
Until 2 right there.
Ooh, that's kind of nice, man. See, that's what I miss, because we're both creatures of the night. and listen, I get up on the weekends, but man, I got to tell you, I'm not a morning person. I would rather work late and sleep in a little bit. But anyway, so the bars, restaurants, all of this stuff. I don't know if we've changed our whole thought process since COVID, but everybody's done it 9 o'clock. And to me, like the town I live in now, and I love it, but I can't walk out at 11 o'clock at night when I get home and go grab a Miller Lite and watch a Pirate postgame. They're not open anymore.
Yeah.
And that's rough.
Well, yeah, I think, some these stores, like grocery stores, they're closed, they close
used to
early.
be open all night.
Right. But I think like the bar scene, the club scene, I think it's they've all forgotten about COVID. If you go to the North Shore, if you go to South Side, clubs and bars, they're open. They're open.
Well,
past
here's what
10,
I think
11,
I need to do. I need to start rolling with you and Brother Marlon. Listen, I don't care what anyone says. You got to be responsible, but there's nothing better than being in a bar after midnight in a safe situation. Right. I know if I hear one more person say nothing good happens after midnight, well, you weren't hanging out with me, because we had a lot of fun watching the Pirates, especially when they're on the West Coast. But a little bowl of popcorn, couple of beers, being smart, maybe putting some quarters in the jukebox, and just elbows up on the bar and just listening to people and feeling that life, and talking to the bartender a little bit, maybe getting, a little slice of pizza or something like that. And what I used to love to do that I haven't done in forever, walk home at like 2 o'clock in the morning along the beautiful Ohio River with a full moon and that summer heat, and you decide to sit on your porch, maybe have a nightcap before you go in and go to bed. Then you wake up like it's 7, 8 o'clock in the morning, and man, you feel refreshed, you're ready to go. Stuff like that you think about as your reward at the end of the day. Mm-hmm. You put in the day, you grind. Basically what I'm doing now, getting up at 2 o'clock in the morning, I was doing back in 1985, 1995. But at the end of the day,